Welcome to A to Z Tales. Some stories begin in light, some begin in darkness. This story begins in a place where hope is small and danger is big. This is the story of a boy named Mateo. He was born in a neighborhood where crime felt normal. Gangs walked the streets. Guns were not surprises. Drugs were easy to find. People did not dream big because dreams did not survive long. Mateo did not choose this life. He simply opened his eyes one day and found himself in it. No one around him talked about art, music, or talent. People talked about survival. People talked about fear. People talked about loyalty to the gang, money from the streets, and who got arrested last night. But inside Mateo's heart, there was something different. Something quiet, something colorful, and something no one else could see. This story tells how he lived, how he struggled, and how he changed his life with something simple. A brush and a dream. And maybe as you read, you will learn something too. If this is your first time on our channel, please subscribe, like, and share this video for more English stories. Mateo lived with his mother in a 2-room apartment. The walls were cracked, the windows were old, his mother worked in a small shop. She came home tired every day. There was not much food on the table, but she always tried to make him smile. His father left when he was 3. Sometimes Mateo remembered his face, sometimes he did not. He remembered one loud fight. He remembered his mother crying. After that, his father never returned. Mateo grew up fast because his neighborhood forced him to grow. Outside his building, groups of boys stood on corners. Some were only 12 years old. They smoked. They sold packets of drugs. They watched people with hard eyes. They looked older than they were. Older boys joined gangs with names that sounded like warnings. Their jackets had symbols. Their hands had scars. Their words were sharp. When Mateo turned 10, some of the boys started talking to him. They said, "You'll join us soon, everyone does." They said, "There is no other way to live here." Mateo listened, but he did not answer. At school, things were not better. Teachers were tired, books were old, desks were broken, some students respected no one. Fights started easily. Many boys stopped coming to class by age 13. Mateo kept going because his mother begged him to. She said, "Education is your only chance." But even she did not fully believe it. Every day he saw police cars. Every week he heard about someone getting arrested. Every month he heard about someone dying. Yet, inside his heart, there was something quiet and soft. One afternoon, when he was 11, he sat in class drawing lines in his notebook. The teacher was talking about history, but no one was listening. Mateo drew a face with eyes that looked tired. Then he drew a street with tall buildings and broken lights. A girl sitting next to him looked at his page. She whispered, "You draw well." He did not answer, but a small warmth moved inside him. That night, he found an old box under his bed. It had a few colored pencils his cousin had left behind years ago. The pencils were short and worn out, but he held them like treasure. He started drawing on pieces of paper from old school books. He drew the street outside. He drew the people he saw. He drew the fear in their faces. He drew the sadness in his mother's eyes. When he drew, the world became quiet for a moment. He did not tell anyone. He did not think it mattered. But art was slowly making a place in his heart. By the time Mateo turned 13, gang leaders noticed him. They liked how quiet he was. They liked how fast he moved. They liked that he did not argue. One older boy named Rico said, "Join us, you're wasting time at school." Another boy said, "You want money? You want respect? We can give you both." Mateo said nothing, but inside, worry grew. At home, money was short. His mother sometimes skipped dinner so he could eat. The landlord shouted about rent. Winter came, and the heater broke. The world around him spoke one message: join the gang or stay small. But his heart spoke another. One morning, he walked past a wall covered with graffiti. Some graffiti was ugly, some was art. One painting caught his eye, a picture of hands reaching toward the sky. It was bright, full of color, and full of pain. He stared at it for a long time. An old man selling newspapers nearby said, "A young artist painted that before he ran from this place. He said art saved his life." Mateo walked away quietly, but the words stayed inside him. He continued drawing, but always in secret. He hid his papers in old books. He drew at night when his mother slept. He drew on cardboard from food boxes. He drew faces he remembered. He drew dreams he could not speak. One day, a teacher named Mr. Harris noticed him sketching in class. Instead of shouting, he looked carefully and said, "You have talent." It was the first time anyone said those words to him. Mateo did not know how to respond. He waited for the teacher to laugh or ignore him, but Mr. Harris added, "If you like drawing, don't stop, even if no one believes in you." Those words were small, but they were powerful. Gang pressure did not stop. One afternoon, Rico and two others followed Mateo after school. They blocked his path. Rico said, "We gave you time. Now decide." Mateo stayed silent. Rico pushed him lightly and said, "This neighborhood makes decisions for you. Don't think you are special." Another boy said, "If you don't stand with us, you stand against us." Mateo felt fear in his stomach, but he walked away slowly. They watched him with cold eyes. That night, he tried to draw, but his hands were shaking. His mother saw his face and asked, "What happened?" He said, "Nothing. I'm just tired." She did not push, but she knew something was wrong. A week later, there was a fight near his building. A boy was stabbed, people screamed, police came late, no one talked about it the next day. Silence was the rule. Mateo stood at his window and watched the street. He felt anger, he felt sadness, he felt something else: resolve. He decided not to join the gang. But decisions have consequences. Rico and his friends stopped talking to him. They stared at him with warning in their eyes. Some younger boys whispered, "He thinks he's better than us." Mateo tried to stay invisible. He kept going to school, he kept helping his mother, he kept drawing at night. Sometimes he asked himself, is drawing enough to change anything? But he had no other dream. One Saturday, his teacher, Mr. Harris, visited his home. Mateo was surprised and nervous. His mother invited the teacher inside. Mr. Harris said, "I showed your drawings to an art teacher at a community center." Mateo felt shock. He did not know Mr. Harris even kept his drawings. Mr. Harris continued, "They have a small art class. It is free. If you want to go, I can register you." Mateo looked at his mother. She had tears in her eyes. She said, "If this is your path, take it." The next weekend, he went to the community center. The building was old but safe. Inside, he saw paints, brushes, and big sheets of paper. A woman named Ms. Elena was the instructor. She was kind but serious. She gave him a canvas and said, "Paint what you feel." He had never used real paint before. His hands trembled at first, but then he moved with calm. He painted his street. He painted shadows and broken lights. He painted a boy standing alone in the middle. When he finished, Ms. Elena looked at the painting for a long time. She said softly, "You paint the truth, don't stop." Those words made his heart stronger. Going to the art class was not simple. He had to take 2 buses. He had to avoid the boys who waited near the corner. Sometimes he lied and said he was going to work. Rico heard about it one day. He stopped Mateo and said, "Painting? You think paint will protect you? You think colors make you special?" Mateo said nothing, but his eyes did not lower. Rico shook his head and walked away, but his anger was clear. Inside the gang circle, Mateo was now seen as a traitor. At school, some boys mocked him. They asked, "Are you drawing flowers now?" They laughed when he carried a folder of papers. He ignored them. In the evenings, he helped his mother wash clothes. He cooked rice when she came home late. Sometimes there was no hot water. Sometimes they had only bread and tea. But every night he painted. Sometimes until 2 in the morning. Some nights he fell asleep with paint on his hands. As months passed, his skills improved. He painted children running in the street. He painted mothers holding babies with tired eyes. He painted men with faces full of anger and lost dreams. Ms. Elena entered one of his paintings in a local youth art show. He did not think much about it. The show took place in a small hall downtown. It was the first time he went to a part of the city that felt clean and bright. People looked at his painting and asked, "Who is the artist?" He stood quietly in the corner, unsure of how to speak. One man said, "This painting is powerful. It shows pain but also strength." For the first time, Mateo saw strangers moved by his work. He did not win any prize, but something more important happened. He saw a future. One night on his way home, 2 gang boys followed him. They grabbed his bag and threw his sketchbook on the ground. They kicked it into the dirt. One of them said, "This is nothing. You belong to the streets, not to colors." Mateo did not fight back. He picked up his book slowly and walked away. His mother saw the torn pages and cried quietly. He held her hand and said, "I won't stop." A few weeks later, a charity group visited the community center. They wanted to support young artists from poor areas. They saw Mateo's paintings and asked to interview him. He was nervous but honest. He said, "I paint what I see. I paint what hurts. Maybe someone will understand." The group offered him a small scholarship for art supplies and lessons. It was not much, but it was enough to change his path. He began painting murals on abandoned walls with permission from the community leaders. He painted messages of hope, unity, and change. Children gathered to watch. Some asked to help. Neighbors began smiling when they passed his art. One mural showed 2 hands breaking a chain. Another showed a boy painting over a wall full of anger. People began to know his name. His paintings spread through social media. A local newspaper wrote about him. "Young artist turns pain into purpose." Some people from outside the neighborhood came to visit his murals. They took photos and shared his story. Rico and his gang saw his work too. They did not speak to him, but they did not stop him anymore. Some boys who once mocked him now asked, "Can you teach us to draw?" He said, "Yes." He brought paper and pencils to the community center. He told them, "Art is not weakness. It is a voice." Slowly, the street began to change. Not completely, not perfectly, but something small shifted. By age 18, Mateo had finished school. He received an offer to join a youth art program in another city. He hesitated because he did not want to leave his mother. But she said, "Go. Your art is bigger than this place." He left with a backpack, some brushes, and courage. In the new city, he learned techniques, met mentors, and improved his style. He painted not only pain, but also dreams. He painted peace as something possible. After 2 years, he returned to his neighborhood with a new plan. He started a youth art project called Colors of Change. He painted walls that once held gang signs. He invited kids to paint with him. Some parents thanked him, some cried. Some said, "We thought this place was lost." Mateo's art became a mirror for his community, a mirror that showed both wounds and hope. The lesson. His story teaches a harsh truth. Sometimes the world around you will laugh at your dream. Sometimes it will attack it. Sometimes it will try to bury it. But a dream is like a seed. If you protect it, feed it, and believe in it, it can grow through concrete. Mateo did not have money. He did not have support. He did not have safety. He only had a brush, some color, and a choice. He made that choice again and again, even when no one believed in him. And because of that, his life changed, and he helped others change too. Now think about your own life. Are you holding a dream inside you? Are people telling you it's impossible? Are you surrounded by voices that say, "You cannot escape"? Maybe your gift is art. Maybe it is music, writing, sports, teaching, or something else. Whatever it is, do not let the world steal it from you. In one sentence, write in the comments, what dream do you want to protect even if no one believes in it yet? Your words might be the first step toward your own transformation. If you enjoyed this story, like the video, subscribe for more simple English stories. Share with a friend who needs motivation. Comment your thoughts below.